What's up, everybody? It's Brandon with Box Office Banter. I just got done doing my Top 5 Thursday. That'll be out later, guys, but I have another video to do today as I forgot that they were releasing the Mortal Kombat trailer finally. And as the big Mortal Kombat fan that I am, you know, naturally I had to come on here and give my thoughts. Of course, I want to hear your thoughts, so let me know what you thought of the trailer down below in any of the comment sections this video will be released in, because this trailer was okay for me. I'm not 100% all in on it. I watched it twice, I'll say that much. I watched it the first time and I was like, I'm indifferent. The second time, I was like, okay, I'm not disappointed, so that's a good thing. I was worried this trailer was going to come out and just be a complete shit show. It was definitely not that, but I also wasn't quite blown away. Something I've been doing is not trying to look too deep into this, because I like for things to be a surprise in a way. Like once I see the trailer drop, I can finally be let in on everything. I like it to be more like that. I treat trailers, not all the time, but a lot of the time, more like Christmas, where I wait and it's more special on the day when it drops. And then when it kind of gets closer to coming out, it's more of that thing where it didn't take as long. You know, obviously it takes the same amount of time if I'm paying attention to everything or if I'm not, but at the same time it's like a mental thing, you know, where if you're following every single detail leading up to it, it'll feel like it just takes forever. So I've kind of in a weird way tried to keep it on the back burner, other than, you know, major updates that have happened here and there. But yesterday was one of those things where, maybe it was the day before, where I kind of caught myself looking at something about the movie. I saw all the pictures of all the characters that are going to be in the movie, basically. And one that was glaringly noticeable that was left out was there was no Johnny Cage. So I'm over here like, I mean, Cage might have been my original favorite character. I don't know, it's tough to say, because I was always a huge Jean-Claude Van Damme fan growing up, and I still am today. So I guess since he kind of had a lot of similarities to Van Damme, I always kind of clinged to him. And then, of course, you know, Lyndon Ashby, I thought, did a great job with the character in the original movie, although we probably all wish it was Van Damme as good as Lyndon Ashby did. But the thing is, you know, later on I find out he was modeled after Van Damme. In fact, Mortal Kombat was supposed to be this fucking Van Damme video game before they expanded it. You can see a lot of similarities from Bloodsport in there. But the fact of the matter is Van Damme aside, Johnny Cage aside, doesn't really work for me necessarily, because even though you could even make the case that it became more of like Liu Kang's story as it went on, and maybe even in the beginning that's kind of what they set out to do after they scrapped just the Johnny Cage or Van Damme video game they were doing, Johnny Cage is such a big part of what makes up the Mortal Kombat universe. So it seems like a weird creative choice. I don't know if they just couldn't find somebody to play him that would do it justice or what, but if y'all have some information on that, let me know, because it just, from the jump, dude, like, I thought all these characters were going to be in it, and to see his picture not there, and then now in the trailer, him not to be there, it's just like, wow, they're really not going to have him in this. Like, what kind of shit is this? Unless maybe he's a surprise character that shows up. Maybe he has like some weird role like that where they're kind of pulling the rug out from under us. But Mortal Kombat doesn't really seem like the movie to do that. Like, this isn't going to be like, oh, Kevin Spacey shows up at the end of 7 type of deal where it's like, oh, look at who's in this movie. It ain't going to be one of those type of things. I think Johnny Cage is just not in this. Obviously, it's an actor. This is a character. There's a difference there. But I think you get the flavor of what I'm trying to say. So, no Johnny Cage. It looks like that's all but confirmed if it wasn't already. But now we can see with our eyes from the trailer, it would appear that there is no Johnny Cage, which comes in with the main characters it seems like it's pushing towards that we're going to be following as the proverbial good guys. It seemed like it really highlighted Sonya, Liu Kang, Kung Lao. That is now who my favorite character is as I've gotten older. Kung Lao has became my definitive favorite. So to see him in a Mortal Kombat movie, that's got me over here giddy as fuck, because he did not get to shine in the first Mortal Kombat movie, or Annihilation, even if that movie's a shit bomb. But it's just kind of funny how, like, my favorite character these days, I'm over here like, oh my God, Kung Lao's finally going to be in it. But then my favorite character when I was like a kid, it's like, yeah, but now no Johnny Cage. Can I just have the complete roster not like the fucking Armageddon roster where it's the Jesus Christ, how many characters are there in this fucking world? But just the basics, the ones that you feel like need to be there. Again, it seems like they have failed to do that by not having Johnny Cage, but at least they have Kung Lao. And the other person they brought up kind of amongst those people was Kano. Fucking Kano. Like, is Kano a good guy now? For one, I can respect Kano as a character. He's been there since the first game. He's a great character, but he's never really been my style. I've never been a big Kano fan, so at base value, not only would I rather have Johnny Cage than Kano in that position, but to have Kano as like a good guy, that kind of, it doesn't even make sense. It would make more sense to have Johnny Cage in that position. And maybe that's just the way the trailer was painted, but it felt like it was saying, because it was like Sonya, Liu Kang, Kano, Kung Lao, and then it showed Raiden. And it was right after in the trailer there was a voiceover saying something to the degree of, like, you are our hope for Earthrealm, whatever the hell it said. Like I said, I've just watched the trailer twice, and it was like back to back, and I was trying to take everything in. But it basically gave you the gist, at least the impression it left on me was like, these are going to be the guys that have a chance at saving us. And Kano was mentioned in that? Like, what are they doing there? What is that? Like, I don't... And it makes the Johnny Cage thing not being there a little more glaring to me, where it's like you have Kano. Okay, that's fine. You should have Kano. That's a good person to pick. He's been there since the beginning. But if we're not going to have Johnny Cage, why do we have Kano seemingly maybe shoved into a good guy role? Is this a thing? Is this really what's happening? Maybe the trailer painted it that way, like I said, but first impression, I'm kind of like, oh shit, is Kano a good guy and we don't have Johnny Cage? That's a couple things that really rubbed off on me right away. All the characters... I mean, I'm not, like, super impressed with how they look, but there's nobody that's, like, glaringly bad. I'm also happy that, like, Jax, he was also, I left him out. He was one of the people they kind of made sound, again, like the proverbial good guy. He looks to be a good version of Jax, which I like having Jax in there. I mean, he was at least entertaining in the Annihilation movie, as bad as that one got. I mean, there's some cheesy fun to be had for sure, but Jax was a bigger reason why I enjoyed that movie, so it's cool to see him back in more of a top-notch role, unlike the first one where basically Sonya just ditched him at the dock. Because, I mean, hey, he tried to tell her, don't go on that boat, you know, and whether she should or shouldn't have, I mean, that's up to you. She did go through a lot, but, I mean, they kind of did save Earth Realm, at least temporarily. But, and then Sub-Zero. Sub-Zero kind of seems like he's painted as the main bad guy here. And, you know, I dig it. I thought maybe I'd see a little more Shang Tsung in the trailer, and maybe he's kind of under Shang Tsung's wing in this movie to a degree, possibly. But I was surprised in a way that it was more... Sub-Zero centric, I think. I mean, of course, we've seen the picture. He's been like the main picture that came out, so I guess I should have imagined that he would have been one of the more main guys, which of course at Sub-Zero he's got to be. But I was kind of surprised. It seemed like they painted him as like the main villain, at least in the trailer. And again, that's what we're going off of here, the trailer. And then Goro. I didn't know Goro was going to be in this. That was kind of wild. We only see him for a brief second. I wonder how big his role will be in the movie. He's like leaping in the air at somebody. There, of course, was CGI. It's not going to be like the OG, which was one of the best parts of that movie, even if it didn't work hardly ever. We just had Mick Strawn on the podcast. He described how hectic that was. So check out that video if y'all would like. But now, of course, in the CGI world we live in now, that's what they went with. And, you know, it looked kind of video gamey for me, but at the same time, this is a video game movie, so it kind of oddly worked. I don't know. I'm going to have to see more than just that clip, because it wasn't like there was a scene or a quick scene with him in the trailer. It was literally he was fucking jumping out of the gym and coming at somebody that looked like almost could have been Johnny Cage, but I'm guessing maybe that's Kano because we only saw the behind shot of him, and that's the closest person that I could picture just from the back of the head shot. And then we have this Cole guy that we're introduced to as well. I don't know how I feel about him. Another one's just like, why this new dude, your path type of situation, unless I'm really fucking up my Mortal Kombat knowledge, which I'd be surprised if I was. I don't know who this Cole dude is. I guess he's like the new guy they're introducing for the movie to kind of add in their own person. But again, I'd rather have Johnny Cage, but we'll see how this Cole guy fares. For me personally, I'm not big on that kind of thing where you kind of like shoehorn this guy in and like, and here's our character and he will be the one who becomes the new Mortal Kombat guy, which if the movie does well enough or Ed Boon likes it enough, I wouldn't be surprised if he became a main character in Mortal Kombat, because Ed Boon has borrowed a lot from the movies. A lot of what Mick Strawn, who I was just talking about was on, did with Outworld and everything like that. And the games kind of became, or in the movie, kind of became more of what they did in the games. The theme song that was from the movie, the Test Your Might, everybody knows that, kind of became more prevalent in the games. They even use that in the latest trailer. And when I say prevalent in the games, like, I feel like people think of that from the game when really it came from the movie, you know what I mean? So it kind of intertwined with that universe in a way. And there's a whole lot of that. So I wouldn't be surprised if this Cole character, if good enough, could end up in the games. I don't doubt that for a second. I mean, they're putting fucking Rambo in the games, for Christ's sake. Who's to say they can't put a guy from their movie in the games next? And, you know, he didn't get a lot from him. It was just like quick one-liners. He's got like the symbol on his chest that shows he should go to the tournament. I'm guessing maybe he'll actually be, I don't know. I'm kind of confused on like, because they made it seem like it was his story, and then he just seemed like kind of irrelevant once the trailer got rolling, and they kind of talked it up like those 5 people or 4, whatever it was I mentioned, were like the main saviors for Elf Realm. What the fuck am I talking about? Earth Realm. So I don't know exactly how that's going to pan out. If I had to guess, maybe this Cole dude is the new guy they're kind of putting out there. He's the one that's going to think he doesn't have enough, but he actually is the one that can save the day the most. And then you have your classic 4 or 5 people grouping that we already know who the hell they are, and they'll be badass the whole time, whereas Cole kind of comes into his own as another one of the good guys. So I think that's what they'll do with that. And then you got the Scorpion character, which the actor, I'm blanking on his name right now, I really like him. And you see him and Sub-Zero, who, like I said, seems to be the mainly painted bad guy in the movie, just off trailer-wise, go at it. And go at it they do. They do show a little clip of the fight scene. And I was kind of pleased with what I saw. You know, wasn't a whole lot there, but it gave us the gist, and the gist is pretty good. And we got Scorpion's famous "Get Over Here." And I got to say, I kind of agree with what a lot of people have been saying about that, because I read a few comments, how they were kind of down on that. I kind of was too, because it wasn't like the "Get over here." It wasn't like that. It was like, "Get over here." So like he's got like the darker, deeper voice, but instead of he has that, but he doesn't have the emphasis. The "get over here" is supposed to have the deep voice like they got down right, but it's like a "get over here," like it's that loud, like I'm fucking doing this right now, persistent voice, rather than "get over here," like where it's like really low with it. It just, I think that's something they obviously can tweak. Like, I mean, if enough, I mean, you've seen the way fucking, I don't think it's necessarily right the way that, like, us as fans can almost change a fucking movie. You saw them do it with Sonic the Hedgehog. But, I mean, sometimes it is for the better. I don't imagine that would be that hard of a tweak, because, I mean, he probably doesn't say it but once, 1 to 3 times or whatever the fuck it is during the movie. I'm sure the whole movie I'm like, get over here, get over here, get over here, like over and over again. Even when he isn't pulling his spear, he's like, Liu Kang, get over here. Like, it probably won't be like that, you know what I mean? You just reshoot or add in just the wording but better, or have him say it with more emphasis. That's what I'm asking for here. We got to be very, very careful about the way we word this too, because we don't want him to change it completely. At least I don't, because it sounds like he's got the right tone, but the key word here is emphasis. It's not like, motherfucker, get over here. It's get over here. Like, I don't know. It just didn't flow for me either, fan world. Yeah, it just didn't exactly work. But I mean, then we get what main thing I wanted to see is if we could get some of it, which we did in this Red Band trailer, some of the blood and gore. I mean, we didn't get fatalities per se, like I've seen some people talk about. I'm like, maybe I'm blind. I didn't really see a fatality. I mean, fatality as in like somebody, there's some people that die in the trailer for sure, if you want to talk about fatalities on that level. But I mean Mortal Kombat like fatalities, dudes over here doing this. And I'm not saying he necessarily has to do this, but I'm just trying to make a point. It's like a singular moment where time stops and boom, it's done. Fatalities aren't just chopping heads off and shit like that. There's got to be some creativity to it, where like maybe somebody gets ripped in half in a certain fucking, well, you know what I mean. We didn't see that, and I'm glad we didn't see that. But some people are talking like we saw that, and I don't think we saw that exactly. But what we did see was some blood and gore in that Red Band trailer. There was definitely some blood to be had here, which I'm glad to see, because I even made a joke about that. I'm like, watch this, like, what if this movie is fucking rated R and we're all hyped, and then it gets to the movie and there's no blood, hardly at all, and then like Raiden just says fuck like a couple times, and that's why we got the R rating. Or maybe it shows Melina's titties or something. I don't fucking know. Like, maybe some fucked up shit like that, rather than it be blood galore. And I mean, that all that stuff's fine too. Raiden can say fuck. We can see Melina's titties. I'm cool with that. I'm here for it. But we got to have that blood, and we got to have it aplenty, because that's the one thing. And I mean about one thing, because, dude, it's almost underrated that the original movie did not get right. It needed to be rated R, dude. It truthfully did. And you know what? Thinking about it, I don't think I want Raiden to say fuck too many times. That's kind of out of his character. But I mean, overall, guys, it didn't blow me away, but it definitely didn't really send too many red flags. There's a couple things here and there I'm like, yeah, I don't know how I'm going to feel about this, but there's nothing that's necessarily negative either. And I think that's the biggest positive from this, even though they connected on all cylinders. There isn't one thing I saw in the trailer where I was like, oh, God, what are they doing? Maybe the get over here thing. But, I mean, one little line, even if it's a huge line, won't necessarily be a deal breaker if the rest of the movie's great. And like I said, there's still time to fix it if they do. And maybe he just says it that one time fucked up. Or maybe even they haven't even had that part recorded. They're waiting on that last, and they kind of wanted to see everybody's reaction to the get over here, because they were indifferent about it too. Well, here's your answer. Fix it. Same pitch, more emphasis. That's what we need on that. I'm sorry. That's the facts, bro. Come at me. But yeah, I mean, that's the big thing, though. There's nothing necessarily that is that negative. There's nothing I can say where I'm like, oh, God, they're doing that. But there is those couple little things like, I don't know how I feel about it, but I'd rather have the I don't know how I feel about it over, oh, shit. And I was worried that there was going to be some, oh, shit. Because I believe this is like first-time director. I know fucking James Wan's connected in some way. I think he's got like a producer credit, but I don't know. I didn't know how to feel about it. And then when I watched the trailer, I didn't know how to feel about it, but at least I don't feel any worse. And there's at least, it's coming along, man. It's not, there's some light at the end of the tunnel here. I'm not wholly sold, but I was really worried that I'd be in a worse place after this trailer, and I'm not. So so far, I'm kind of on the same wavelength. I'm floating around along and hoping for the best, with maybe just a smidgen more of hope, because, you know, the things I needed to see, I saw. But like I said, those few and maybe scenes almost kind of leveled it out. So we'll see, guys. We'll see. So like I said, what did y'all think of the Mortal Kombat trailer? I'm here for it, man. I'm here for it. What about y'all? What about y'all? Any red flags on y'all's end? Let me know. And of course, join Box Office Banner Movies, the group. Follow us on Spotify and Podbean, you know, at Official Box Office Banner. Also, Official Box Office Banner on the Instagram, if you on the gram. And, of course, Box Office Banner on YouTube, which is what this will probably be coming out on. And, of course, will be released in our Box Office Banner Movies group. So if you're not there, what are you doing? And if you haven't watched the trailer yet, but you just listen to me blabber on about it, also, what are you doing? Were you a big fan of it just as a casual fan? Were you a huge fan of it as a huge Mortal Kombat fan like myself? Let me know, man. I'm counting on the movie. I'm trying not to get my hopes up too much. Not a bad first trailer. Not a bad one. Thank you, guys. Love y'all.